rkiye refuses to send Russian S-400s to Ukraine as proposed by US.
Here's a summary of the article.
Turkey has rejected a proposal by Washington that an S-400 anti-missile defense system which Turkey bought from Russia be sent to Ukraine. Details: Kavu, Lu said the US had argued that the S-400 system purchased from Russia should exclude Turkey from the F-35 fighter jet program, and suggested that Turkey hand control of the system over to the US or another country, such as Ukraine, as it tries to fight off Russian forces. Quote, "The US asked us to send the S-400s to Ukraine, and we said no." More details: according to Anadolu, in 2017, when its protracted efforts to buy an air defense system from the US proved futile, Turkey signed a contract with Russia to acquire the state-of-art S-400 system. US officials expressed opposition to its deployment, arguing that S-400s would be incompatible with NATO systems. Asked about returning to the F-35 program, Kavu, Lu said Ankara does not want to return to the program but rather wants Washington to pay back the money that Turkey paid for fighter jets before it was removed from the program, while its jets were never delivered. Ankara is now producing its own national combat aircraft, he explained, adding that Turkey also wants to improve ties with the US and that the necessary mechanisms have been established to that end.
This post received a score of 12,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
And why didn't the US sell Turkey those Patriots? From CNBC. I wonder if the Russians included the tech. Seems doubtful.
Probably did. The US is, rightfully TBH, stingy on tech transfers, but the Russian mic generally takes whatever deal they can get. This is also why India buys Russian or French but not American, yet. They also want access to the technology.
That's why Russia's toys get reverse-engineered easier in China.
It's been a few years since I was more up on the matter, but though China is great at copying anything the Russians send, they still struggle with actually manufacturing engines. Not sure of its material or experience, but the Chinese are heavily reliant on Russian engine technology and expertise.
When China sold Pakistan some jets a while back, the US obviously showed up and threw some money around to inspect, take one apart. I watched a CSIS panel and that was brought up by a retired US military flag officer on the panel who mentioned how the main issue with the planes were the engines, and not even the design of the engines, it was the endurance given how they were made and what they were made of. He described how China is 10 to 20 years behind the US in materials science and their engines suffer for it. How their military jet engines have service lives measures in hundreds of hours. And how that will be a very expensive problem for China going forward since, assuming they want their pilots to be competent and give them similar amounts of flight time, training to Western air forces, they will have to replace their engines umpteen times as often as the West does with our aircraft. Those engines aren't cheap. They are tens of millions of dollars apiece.
People are concerned by the expansion of the Chinese surface fleet, but many of those ships they have built are going to be coming due for major service overhauls and maintenance soon. Seeing the same problem with Chinese aircraft really makes the fiscal situation in China seem dire. Lots of local and regional governments are having budget issues and are going into austerity. Every yuan diverted to military expansion is one that is not spent ameliorating social problems.
Greater than lots of local and regional governments are having budget issues and are going into austerity, which the national government is pushing back against, because Xi has a whole bunch of unfunded mandates that he wants pursued by local governments now.
Local and regional governments cannot collect taxes to fund all the public services they are mandated to provide. For the longest period it was the land speculation and development bubble that funded these governments. And the CCP in Beijing does not want to redistribute tax revenue centrally collected. I mean those pension cut protests, whoa.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.